Colin, heads of schools, my beloved teacher from Cotton's, Mrs. Naeem, Mrs. Mercy Jacob, young leaders of tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Not only is it an honor to be invited to address this marvelous audience, it's also a great pleasure for me to come back to Bishop Cotton. Since Vasundhara mentioned my book, Unfinished Symphony, I thought I could begin by taking a cue from it. I had the pleasure of profiling some of the very eminent alumni that my school has produced. And three names spring out at me when I consider speaking to you today. Dr. Raja Ramanna, an eminent nuclear scientist, General K.S. Thimaya, one of the finest generals that India has had, and Lord Colin Cowdrey, the eminent cricket captain of England. And all three of them blazed a trail in life that was worth emulating. They stood out for their excellence, they stood out for their moral courage, they stood out for leadership with ethics, and they stood out for the way they made a difference to people around them and took people with them. I was delighted to find that all three of them have a memorial lecture series instituted in their memory. The Colin Cowdrey Memorial Lectures have some of the finest cricketing brains coming forth to speak not only on the game of cricket but more importantly on the spirit of cricket that Lord Colin stood for. The Dr. Raja Ramanna Memorial Lectures organized by the Indian Institute of Science and NIAS have some of the finest scientific brains sharing their thoughts on the progress of their profession. And I'm personally very happy to say that the General Thimaya Memorial Lectures have been instituted by some of us old boys, bringing back to school an eminent Cottonian each year to speak to the students, the old boys and other friends from Bangalore. And what each of these lecture series tells me is that these gentlemen lived lives that were worth emulating. They left a mark to be remembered long after they were gone. And therefore, what is that one trait of leadership that the three of them personified? And that is the ability to inspire. So to me, if I have to bring you a message on leadership, it is to convey to you that you need to have the ability to inspire. And how do you get this ability to inspire? Well, by being inspired yourself. If you're not an inspired individual, believe me, you're going to find it impossible to inspire anyone around you. So therefore, I don't want to give you a dogmatic lecture on leadership. I only want to tell you that you need to find things, people, places, concepts, friendships, relationships, and ambitions that inspire you. Do things that make you happy, do things you're passionate about, do things where you're challenged, do things where you believe the cause is bigger than yourself. And once you do that, you will be an inspired soul. I'm quite certain that if you find that mantra, you're automatically going to make an excellent leader in whatever field that you choose. I am compelled to comment that the current brand of leadership that we find in the country today, particularly the political leadership, leaves a lot to be desired. You will agree with me that often enough we find that leadership to be dishonest, inarticulate, unconvincing, lacking in conviction and so on. And I hope that this critical mass of brilliant students from very good schools in Bangalore and other parts will correct that deficit. I hope that you will provide a brand of leadership that will make a difference to our wonderful but chaotic country. For that, I'm hopeful and I beseech you to engage with public life. I hope that many of you will engage with governance, with matters of administration, with the law. I can assure you that the law provides a fascinating opportunity for those who want to try and understand society and possibly even give further direction to society. I hope that many of you will engage with matters of national security, of defense, of intelligence, of policing, of politics, and so on, because that is the vacuum that the public life in India is experiencing. I also want to say that I know I have a slot of 5 to 6 minutes, and before I'm pushed off stage, I want to say that while pursuing your respective passions in your careers, please stay engaged with your schools. Stay loyal to the institutions that you come from. I can speak from experience that the more you give back to your institution, the more you get out of it. So please see yourself also as ambassadors of the wonderful schools that you come from. Stay loyal to them and try and do them proud. I want to conclude by quoting Henley's wonderful poem, a passage from his poem Invictus, a poem that was written many years ago. It became the subject matter of a fabulous film on Nelson Mandela's life. And this is what he says: "It matters not how straight the gate, how charged of punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." I wish you well. Thank you. Jai Hind.